Hey, yo, we are back. Yes, indeed. Kribz,
Hello.
welcome back to the AK Reckless Thoughts podcast.
Hello,
The one,
hello.
AZ, KZ, you know us already. Kribz and Alex here, kicking it with you. We are continuing our episode 4. You know, we went into overtime last week, but before we do that, we're gonna set things up really quickly with obviously, how was the weekend, Kribz? Your weekend?
So I started my weekend kind of early because I went out on
Mm-hmm.
Thursday for St. Patrick's Day.
Mm,
And yeah, it was a huge
that's right.
mistake.
St.
Yeah,
Patty's. Oh my goodness.
it was a huge mistake. I went to this new place downtown. Well, it's not new place, but it's new to me,
Yeah.
in downtown Miami. And oh, you would love this place actually. Now that I'm remembering,
Okay.
they
Now we're
played
talking.
so much hip hop, and I'm talking like old school hip hop, like Mike Jones, like New York, Fat Joe. Like
Oh damn.
it was insane. I was like, bro, somebody's gonna get in a fight here, like you
Oh
know.
man.
Um,
Cool.
yeah, but it's a ramen noodle spot that kind of turns into like a club.
Okay. Okay.
So
I,
those were the
so
vibes.
confession, I've never really I've had ramen noodles, right? Like in a cup. But never have I gone to a restaurant to eat ramen noodles.
Oof, yeah, we
Just
got to
saying.
put you on.
All right, well, we got to make that happen. Kribs, I did my best Tom Brady impression, and I came out of retirement and I went back to Las Olas.
Hmm.
That was fun. I'll say it was fun. I'll admit it. Shout outs to my girl Steph who took me out. We had a good time. We had a blast. Thanks to her friend who paid for everything, and I am not ashamed, not one bit, for eating and drinking off their tab. No, I'm kidding. I'm not the biggest fan of doing that, right? But it just like the guy kept saying to me, "Hey, man, don't worry about it. You ain't got to pay nothing because I'm not paying nothing." And I was like, "Are you sure, man?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, he's like, "What am I going to charge you half of like $2, $5?" And I'm like, I mean, I guess if that at that point, like, I
Hmm.
guess you make sense. But that was my weekend. I had a blast. I mean, so the thing is, I keep going out on Thursdays, and I get home at like 7, 8 in the morning, and then I have to work at 9 the next day. So I'm not young anymore to be doing
Hmm.
that. But yeah,
See,
I need to.
I was dead. I was dead. I could not get up from my bed on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I was like, I
Yeah,
can't do it. Nope.
I'll tell you this though, Kribs. I watched the Batman, and I'm going to tell you this: greatest Batman standalone film
Oh
that there is.
God.
Standalone. So what I mean is like one on one.
Yeah, no.
Best movie right here is the Batman.
Okay,
What a
what about his
movie!
acting?
The acting was a little. It wasn't my
Okay,
favorite
the
because
movie was great.
it brings us back to the Twilight, right? It brings us back to his his like very like nonchalant, barely any movement in the face type of acting he did in Twilight. So that did throw me off a little bit. But like overall, I thought the movie I was thrilled. I was like so into it. I was even guessing some of the riddles. I guessed like two of them correct. The rest I was completely off. But
Yeah.
I was so into the movie. I thought it was great. A lot of twists, a lot of turns. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's not your typical Batman film. It is a detective film, which I thought it was like a Saw. Like it was like I felt like some Saw was in that. I felt
Mm.
like some what's that movie with Brad Pitt and it was like I think it was like Seven Monkeys or something like that. It just brings me back to these like films that like it just made you like question everything. It was just twists and turns, and I thought it was great. I hope they continue the series. You know, Matt Reeves with a hell of a job on the Batman film. So that's that. We're not going to spend too much time because we do have to catch up with the second episode so everybody can watch. And then after the episode's done, we're going to come back and you brought up a really interesting topic, so we're gonna ask what the viewers think. But before that, I do have to say something, and this is left field because I didn't tell you that I was going to talk to you about this. But I have a friend who watches this show, and he constantly is like commenting on it, and he actually wanted me to pass on a note to you. So, and I'm sorry that I didn't give you a heads up for this because I forgot until now.
What a jerk.
But so my boy has been watching the podcast. God, where did he write this message? So he basically is saying that he would wine and dine you, because I think you mentioned something about not getting wined and dine on at the Batman date that you had. So he's like, man, tell Kribz that I will wine and dine her. I will give her everything she needs. So he's putting it out there. Only thing is he lives in Colombia. That's the only thing. He said wine and dine and grind her on first date.
I mean, I'm going to Colombia in November, so what's up?
I'll put you on. That's what we do here at the Reckless Thoughts podcast. All right. So before we go to the second half of the episode, we do want to also just keep up with the March Madness tournament that we have. Me and Kribz are doing horrible. We're like in second to last place. Kribz Baylor team is already eliminated. They got taken out by UNC. Okay. Another reason for you to hate UNC, just like I do. Shout out to Duke.
That game had me in like chokehold. That was like, what is happening here? And then
let me ask you this though, Kribz. This is your first tournament. How are you enjoying it so far?
It's crazy.
I know that Baylor lost and it took your spirit out, but I mean, is it not nuts the way this goes down?
Yeah, no, it's insane. And if I was like a bigger follower of college sports, which I think I might turn into, I think that, I would be one of those people that takes the week off and I'm like, I'm watching games all day, bro. Don't bother me.
All day. Well, next year we'll try to do 2-3 brackets, because then you start picking different winners and it's like, all right, this bracket fell apart, but I still got this one. So you start just enjoying it more. You do it with work, you do it with friends, and obviously the challenge right now. On top is Julian. Shout out to Julian, who is on top right now. He has Gonzaga winning it all. And right now he is at the top of the boards, but only by one game, followed by Isabel, followed by Walter, and then us, and then Techie Tech is in last place. Sorry for your Tech's horrible bracket, but he's still in it, trying to fight somehow. But we'll see how it goes. So let's go ahead and move on to the second half of episode 4, dating in Miami, and we get into values as well. So we'll go ahead and do that. Enjoy, and we'll be right back. We talked about the last thing. What is the last thing we said on the?
Well, I said the whole tell your person what you want. So I think you should go off that.
For sure. Okay. Yes. Tell them what the hell you want, man. So, years ago when I got out of high school, I want to say like maybe 3 years removed out of high school, I got into this relationship, and I'm sure if she's watching, she's probably like send me a bunch of text messages for bringing this up, but we got into a relationship where this girl was already dating somebody. I didn't know, but she was already dating somebody, and me and her met, and we just started like flirting, and kicked it to each other, and then we hooked up. And after we hooked up, she was honest and said, "Hey, listen, like, just want you to know, I'm still dealing with my ex. She considered him an ex, but they were still dating, and." She was like, I just want you to know that I'm dealing with him, but I would love to continue seeing you and stuff like that. Right. So I was basically her boyfriend number 2. But here's the thing, right? Her being honest and her telling me from the beginning, hey, listen, this is what it is. It set me up in a way where I was like, all right, and I'm a hopeless romantic, but I was able to push my feelings aside. And I was like, you know what it is? If you're enjoying the sex and if you're enjoying the time that you're spending with her, don't mess it up. Just do what she's asked, right? She just wants privacy time with you and whenever she wants it, and that's it. And we did that for a while. Things got complicated for other reasons, but for the most part, it had nothing to do with her ex. It was always just me and her. And when we chilled, we had a blast. We had a good time. And I honestly believe that if she never told me, and I found out through I don't know, I caught them chilling or whatever, and they were together, it could have been a lot uglier. It could have been like, what do you mean? I thought you were with me and this and that, right? So we did that for about almost 2 years, right? That was almost like a 2-year thing. But I have to always say that if it wasn't for her being honest from the beginning, I would have never been able to manage my feelings the right way, because I would have been stuck on this whole yeah, exactly, right? So it saved me a lot of heartache, because, I love hard. When I do love, I love hard. So It saved me a lot of heartache, even though I still ended up getting it, because we did get serious after a
Yeah.
while. But that's beyond the point. It avoided that heartache at the beginning. So I agree with you 100%. Be honest. Be completely honest from the beginning. Hey, listen, like I'm having the time of my life, but I don't want anything serious. Cool. Let's have a blast. I'm not an asshole, right? I told my boy, I was like, I wish sometimes I could be a dick, right? And his response was like, give him anal. When you on the first time, that's how you can be a dick from here on out. And I not my thing. Can't do that. I'm just not a dick. I'm not an asshole, Kribz. I can never be an asshole. It's just not in me. My mother raised me differently. I don't know. But I can't be a dick. I could be a dick, like, in other things and other occasions. But when it comes to like a girl, like it's very hard for me to be a dick. So if you've heard anything else, let me know. But it's a lie. I'm not a dick.
I mean, I've never heard anything else, but yeah, I think that it's important. It's just important to be honest from the beginning. Like
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I have learned to kind of like put out there first. Like, hey, okay, so for example, this last person that I had met, I told him from the beginning, like, my priority is just not dating right now. Like, it's just not. I have
Yeah.
projects, I have things that I need to do. I'm super busy at work because somebody's on maternity leave, and there's just like so many things that are falling on my lap.
For sure.
And then not to mention that, like, just life things, places that I want to go, things that I want to see, like there's just fucking Dr. Seuss over here. But yeah, it's just not my main priority. So if you ask me out and I tell you, no, I'm busy, like, you need to understand that, because I already told you from the beginning that this is not my priority. So you can either be with it or you could not be with it, like.
So does that mean
Those are
like
your two choices.
so does that mean you don't like the whole clinginess or anything like that? Like,
Oh my God, no. I am so huge on my own space. Like, so huge. I'm actually so huge on my own space that I don't even really invite people to my place.
I think I've been
Like,
to your house once in our whole friendship.
exactly. And our whole friendship. And how long have we been friends? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
it's like my safe space. I'm a Cancer, so I'm very big on like my home, my shell, my little, whatever you want to call it. And I just like it's a thing for me.
Yeah.
I can't. I need to have my own space. Also, I'm an only child, so I was raised with like a lot of, like, I've never had to share. I've never had to like I've always been in my own space, and I think that has a lot to do with it too, like, it's funny because I've even told people that, like, I think that if I ever were to get serious with someone, I would need a house with extra rooms, because I would need a room where I could get away from you
Yeah.
if I need to, because I
Absolutely.
am that kind of person. Like,
Yeah.
don't talk to me when I'm mad. I'm going to talk to you when I feel like I've gotten over whatever I need to get over. I'm gonna lock the door and don't come at me with some crazy stuff, because then we're just gonna both end up in like not very nice places. So
For sure.
I think space is super important. Cleanliness I don't like, and that's actually something else that I've noticed in Miami specifically, is that if you don't give a guy attention, like constant attention, they feel like you're not interested. And I think that that's where I have my problem, because since I'm not the kind of person that's always on my phone. I'm not the kind of person that's always sending like voice notes or messages or whatever. Like, you'll see me sure on social media, but that's because it's literally part of my like job. It's what I
For
do.
sure.
Like, I need to be on content. I need to see people's podcasts. I need to see what they're posting. That's just what I do. But I'm not actively like in my DMs always like talking to people and like, hey, like, this is not my thing. So that's become like a thing for me, is that I've realized that because I'm not always, giving people this attention, it becomes a thing like, oh, then maybe she's not interested. And then I start get like, push back, and then there's space. And then eventually it's just kind of like,
Closes
whatever.
out.
Like, yeah, just, I can't like.
Well, to be fair, just to be fair, right? Like I definitely need reassurance, right? I definitely need reassurance, and that's I've always tried to work on that. So like, but then we just talked about how you need to be upfront with somebody. So if you don't like the constant messaging and stuff like that. And this goes out to me, like if somebody tells me, hey, listen, like I'm not on my phone all the time, like, you know, I'm always busy and this and that, like, you know, I don't mind getting a text here and there in the morning, you know, saying good morning, but I'll get back to you when I can, kind of thing, right? Cool, good to know, because I will double text because I'm like, yo, you good? Like everything, you know, especially if we had a good conversation the day before or something, right? Where we had like I don't know, a meaningful conversation where we talked about some, you know, very personal things, and the conversation ended up well, and then all of a sudden the next day I text you and I don't get a response back, and it's like 4 hours pass, and I'm like, hey, you good? Everything good? Like, you know, I don't hope you're not in a car accident or something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Fair,
so
fair.
sometimes that double texting happens, you know, with me, and I'll be, you know, I'll go ahead and admit that. But that happens usually when you don't set the expectation, right? If you don't set the expectation with me, then I'm just like, yeah, everything cool. Like, did I say something wrong? Did I, you know, did I fart the wrong way? Like, I don't know. Did you smell it? I don't know. Like, I need to know what's going on. I need that reassurance to know, hey, look, you're good. It's just, you know, I'm kind of busy and I'm, you know, whatever. Because sometimes it
Fair.
happens to me. Sometimes I get busy and I can't answer right away, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm like, shit, like I haven't even talked to this girl, and I know, and you see the memes where they're like, oh, if someone really likes you, they'll make the time. Sometimes you're caught up. Like if you're a fucking hustler, you're caught up in what you're doing, you know, and it's sad, but it's true.
And honestly, that could be another thing that has to do with Miami culture, because from what I have seen, for the most part, the people who I've met in Miami are all in that hustler mentality.
Right.
Like everybody's in that like work, grind,
Side
play mode.
hustles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, like everyone is just like
Everybody,
trying to make it happen, because
especially with the
one,
rent.
exactly, one, because cost of living is very expensive in Miami, and it's gone up higher since the pandemic because people wanted to, like, you know, whatever, come live the dream life.
Yeah.
um so yeah, cost of living is very high. Also, I feel like there's a shift in the culture here where like entrepreneurship is like huge, you know? So like a lot of people want to follow their dreams, want to make their passion into a job, want to do podcasts and get paid for them, you know? So like
Yeah.
that's the priority that people have here. So, you know, like you'll have some people that are, and then other people just have partying priorities. Like they just want to go out and have fun. They're in a
Yeah.
nightlife city. They're in a place where like, hey, the clubs are open every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, like
And they're at an
Sunday
age that they can
brunch.
do it. Yeah, they're at an age
Yeah,
that they can do it too. Yeah.
you know, so like that's the thing. Like I feel that's another thing with dating in Miami, and the culture here is like everyone's busy. Everyone has a hustler mentality. If that whole, oh, if you can, if that person wanted to, they'd make time for you. Like, no, how about you make time for me? If I tell you that I have like a pop-up shop at a festival or something, like come see me, you know, like show me that you're supportive and that you can handle somebody with like this kind of mentality, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, there's just it's the culture is different down here. Things are you got to be different, you
For sure.
know?
So I'll speak for Rhode Island, right? And like because I've dated a lot in Rhode Island, and what I can tell you is that a lot like the mindset is a little different, right? Rhode Island is a very comfortable state, and not to say that people don't hustle. People hustle. People are fast on their feet and stuff like that, and people will have two jobs, three jobs at times. You know, I had an ex that was like that busted her ass left and right, but they're more comfortable in the sense of like their living spaces. Like it's like, hey, like this is where we're at. This is the life that we live. I can not only be born and raised here, but I can raise my kids, and they can live that same life as well, and they'll find their way through in this state. And I'm not saying that I'd rather date girls from Rhode Island. That's not really what I'm saying. What it comes down to is it's easier in a way because I can relate to that small town mentality. Like it's like I know what that is to have that white picket fence or want to have that white picket fence. And the only thing that's kept me away from Rhode Island is the fact that I just don't want to go backwards. I'm not a guy that goes backwards a lot. Like if I go backwards, man, like oof, that means I really care about that particular thing that made me go backwards. Um, Even when I got out of high school, I didn't necessarily get into the dream university that I wanted to get into, and I was very like, I'm not gonna look at it anymore. And eventually I did, right? Because I cared that much about it. And I ended up going to that school. You know what I mean? So like that just shows you that I'm very like once it's out of my way, I'm out. I'm continuing forward. So when I look at the dating scene in Rhode Island and Miami, and you're right, maybe I am getting a little ahead of myself. Maybe the options and stuff like that is opened everywhere. But there's something about the women in Rhode Island where it's just like, I'm with this guy and I'm going to make it work. I want to raise a family. I want to make it happen. Where I feel like in Miami, it's like, I like this guy. I want to date this guy, but I want to fucking party all the time. And if he pisses me off, I got this next person right in line. You know what I mean? Who's going to continue that lifestyle with me. Where in Rhode Island, it's like, yeah, cheating happens, but sometimes it's, oh, I'm not trying to be with this next person. I still love the kid I cheated on. I still love him and I still want to work it out with them. And I don't know how many times I've seen where a girl or a guy cheats on their particular partner, and then they end up getting back together, they end up having kids, they end up getting married, and it's that comfortable life. Where in Miami, I feel like that happens, and sometimes it's like, you're done, because I got so many options, I could keep it moving forward. Can't fuck up, you're walking on eggshells. I just feel like you're walking on eggshells here in Miami.
Sure. Yeah, but I think that also has a lot to do with like, I don't know.
I mean, think about it. Like in Rhode Island, past 1 a.m, things are closed. There's nothing open, right? So if you got into a fight with your man at 11:30, you don't got time to get ready and go out to a club to like go get some drinks with the girls. In Miami, there's things that don't close till 4 or 5 in the morning. You get into a fight with your boyfriend at 11:30, you're out. Right? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You're out and about. And yo, I'll meet you there at 1 a.m. Last Thursday, and I know that we're a week ahead, like in this show. Remember, this is the 4.5 because we're in overtime. But last Thursday, my friends were gonna go out, and I was like, hey, I get out of work at like 12:30. They're like, yo, the party's just starting at that time. In Rhode Island, that's it. It's over. I'm done. I'm going home. I'm maybe buying something at Mickey D's and going home and watching TV. In Miami, I got there at 1:30 and party till 7 a.m. That's a big difference in the dating scene. I feel like I just feel like those things, those variables play a role.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's definitely a thing in Miami. Like you get into a fight with whomever. It doesn't even have to be your man. You get into a fight with like one of your girls, and you're like,
Right.
you know what? I'm gonna go have fun without you.
Yeah.
And you go out and you do your thing, and yeah, like you're right. It's different. The culture down here is different, and I'm 100% that has a lot to do with like people not being taken serious and also people not being honest. Because if you're meeting somebody at the club, let's be honest, what are the odds of that person actually looking to settle down?
Right. You're right. 100%.
Likely, man. Not very likely. And it's just, this is what it is. Like, there's a saying down here, like, don't date promoters or DJs. Why?
Yeah, because
they're not gonna take you serious. They got all this stuff getting thrown at them for like whatever reason, And yeah, it's a thing down here. Like, I'll tell you one thing. I don't and am not sure that I will find somebody long term in Miami.
Interesting. And your friends have found people long term. Like we and you have friends who have found people long term, right?
Yeah.
So what's the excuse? Right. Oh, you charge it. What do you got? Charge your.
Yeah. I mean, look at.
Ooh, that doesn't sound good.
Just that.
That does not sound good. Yeah. Let's give Kribz a chance to we'll probably edit that out, but we're supposed to be the one take show. In the meantime, once she edits that out, yes, we do have mutual friends that have figured out or found somebody, right? But it's like it's almost like, how long did it take them? How many people did they have to be around or mess around with in order to find that particular person? How many times did they have to go on different first dates? Listen, for a guy, I'm gonna tell you right now, as a guy that I've been in plenty of first dates that haven't worked out in Miami, I can tell you one thing: shit's expensive. Now, with the gas prices going up, with the rent that has gone up, what makes you think I want to spend money on these constant first dates, right? It's easy for women to go on first dates. All you gotta do is show up and you gotta eat. And if you don't like it, you can be like, sorry, it's not working out. It's not working out, right? So
But
why is it
that's what you got to pay. That's the price to pay. Like,
that's the price of paying, right? All right, that's the price of paying. So I gotta go on these fucking dates and pick people up left and right in Miami where things are expensive in order for me to find happiness. Like that's what I gotta do, right? But I don't know, man. Doesn't sound like a good deal because all these people. What about this? Like, have you heard about this? Supposedly, there's this thing where they say that women will agree to a first date so they can get their free meal and be out. Unbelievable, Kribz. Unbelievable. I am.
that's what dating is. What are you confused about?
A free meal?
If listen, if you're cute, I think you're cute. You tell me I'm gonna take you out to eat. I'm like, okay, take me out to eat. It's a free meal. It's expensive. Food is expensive. I'm gonna be open to you and getting to know you.
That's
Now,
what
if
you're
the
gonna say.
conversation, if the first of all, if the conversation doesn't flow, I'm a very honest person. The difference between me and probably a lot of other women is I'm very honest, and I will tell you right off the bat, like, yeah, I'm not really feeling this.
In the middle of the meal?
In the middle of the meal. Like, and even if you say something that's like super, like, let's say crude, like something that I know are like against my values and against like, completely something that like I just wouldn't deal with. I'm going to tell you and I'm going to be like, listen, this has been nice. I really appreciate it. If you want to split half and half, we can do that. I'm that kind of person. If not, cool. I'm just going to go. Like,
not even going to wait for dessert.
If it's something that like, and this is just my standard, but like if it's something that is completely just against my values and that I know is not, like, for example, I had one person tell me once, like, oh, you're too much of a liberal.
Okay.
Firstly, we're just getting to know each other. You really don't know that about me. That's one. Right. Like, you're making this assumption about me. Secondly, I don't even talk politics. Not my thing. So
what was so liberal about? Like, what were you?
Because because of my extracurricular activities. Let's say that. So, it rubbed him some type of way. He felt the need to say this, and I just knew that it didn't align with me. Like, that's not something that I'm willing, one, to give up. Sorry, just not. Two, you're also like judging me what is it, like, making assumptions about me that you really don't know. And like, I don't know, it kind of seemed like a put down, to be honest with you. Like, the way that he said it was kind of like looking down on me, like, excuse you, sir, I have a whole master's degree. Like, who the hell do you think you are? Shout
out to the Hispanics with the masters, right? So let's speak about values a little bit, right? What are your core values you're not changing for anybody? Like
yeah, core values. Let's see. I think it breaks down to like a couple of things. So loyalty, I'm huge on loyalty. That's like one of my biggest values.
Even in an open relationship?
Yeah. Be loyal to me. Tell me, like, hey, this is the deal. I'm with so and so. Like, I'm gonna go hang out with her. Okay, cool. Let me know.
Yeah.
That's
what you think 1 to 10. What do you think before I go?
Yeah. Literally. Like, yeah, like, I'm that kind of open kind of person. Like, I'll walk down the street with whoever I'm with and I feel like, damn, that girl's fine. Like,
right.
Okay.
So loyalty, right?
Loyalty is big for me. Honesty, like, you got to be honest. You got to let me know what's up. Family values, I think, are very important to me. Like the way that you speak about your family and the way that you act towards your family is like very important and entailing about what kind of person you are. And yeah, like it's important to me.
So if you're dating somebody who was a foster child, didn't have a family, went through the system.
Sure. Most people who have gone through the system and are foster kids
Hmm.
look for that kind of love in their relationships. So, meaning that they're the ones that are actually most open to like having kids, to like giving that love that was never given to them, and to like exploring those long term family values.
So you're open to having kids?
Wow, this got
I'm
real
just
hard
saying.
real fast.
I'm just saying. Listen, you threw out those values. I want family values. I want, are you ready to have kids? Are you trying to have kids? Are you dating to have kids?
I am not specifically dating to have children. No.
Okay. You're not dating to marry either?
No.
Because you don't believe in marriage much.
Nope.
You're just not a big fan of the whole
No,
ceremonial.
I'm like a strong believer that if somebody comes around in my life that happens to be like that long-term feeling, then it's just going to happen. It's like going to be natural and it's just going to flow the way that it's supposed to flow, and that's
Mhm.
it. If I happen to get pregnant, if we're playing the pull out and pray game and it just happens, then hey, it's happened. And I'm strongly against abortion, so I'm it's something that I'm gonna have to go through with. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not actively, I don't know, maybe this is like my spiritual journey that I'm going through, but I'm not actively looking for anything. If it happens, it happens. And
Okay.
and this is something that I learned about a year ago, like when I lost my grandma. It stopped being about looking for things because nothing made sense to me. Grief is unbelievably hard for anybody who hasn't been through it, and for anybody that has, I'm sorry for your loss. um Grief is super hard, and grief will change the outlook that you have on many things in life in general. And that's one of the things that changed for me. I stopped
Absolutely.
actively looking for things, and I'm just letting things fall into place as they should.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, that's totally fair enough. If it happens, it happens. If it comes, I mean, I'm the same way too, right? Like I do date to marry. I do date to have kids. I'm not saying I need it. I don't necessarily need it. It's like a more of like a want, right? It's like maybe I do want that, because I for a while was like, nah, I don't need to get married. Nah, I don't need to have kids. But then when I really think about it, I'm like, damn. I mean, I'm the only child from my mother. Like, maybe shouldn't be that selfish. Maybe just give her the wedding that she would love to see her son walk down that aisle. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I want kids right now, but that'd be nice to give my mom a little grandchild, this stuff like that to kind of give her that extra boost in life, because I feel like it gets to a certain age where just like kids give your parents an extra boost in their life.
Yes,
They
it's
want to be
actually
there.
scientifically proven.
There you go. So why not? Why not give that? Provide that. So at my age, I'm at this point in my life where I'm like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? I'm okay with that. I've kind of gotten over it. I think when I was like anywhere from 22 to about 29, give or take, I was like, I really wanted it. I was like, I really want this. After 30, I was kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if I really want it. 31, it took about a year of that denial to kind of be like, no, I don't really want it. But then at 31, I was like, I do. I'm not just not gonna rush it. Just not gonna rush it. There's no need to rush it. Because then you rush it and you deal with some of the things that you hear people deal with, right? Which is like bad co-parenting,
Mhm.
fucking child support. I mean, I'm a product of that. I've lived through my parents' divorce and the child support. I know the shit that they put me through, and maybe they'll never understand what they put me through. I understand what I went through. You know what I mean? So I don't want to put that on any child. And I don't care how good you can talk to your kids. Divorce is never easy at the
Mhm.
age that usually happens. Once you get to my age, you realize that was for the better that they divorced. But back then, like I was going through hell back in the day when that happened. So I don't want that for my kids, and those are my kind of values. I don't know. I guess honesty is also one of my values. I would say I do like loyalty. Um, God, it's so, it's like it's a lot to ask for nowadays. Loyalty is very difficult to ask for, right?
Yep.
You feel like, well, if I'm loyal to you, it's got to be easy for you to be loyal to me, but it just doesn't happen that way. I don't know, just
no, it's true. It's true. You can, and it's funny because I talk about this a lot in therapy. Yes, guys, I go to therapy. I have a self-healing journey that I'm on. And that's one of the things I talk about like a lot with my therapist, is that I have this belief that if I am this way to people, that people will be that same way to me. And that is not the case.
Right.
It is not the case. And we need to learn that as like human beings who love hard. Like you said, like I'm that kind of person that like, if I love you, I'm going to love you hard. We need to understand that sometimes what we give, we are not going to get in return. And that's that's on them. That's not on us. It's just, that's how some people are wired, like they just they can't be it. They can't do it. They can't be loyal. They can't be honest. They can't be, open about their feelings, their emotions, their whatever, their stuff. So, yeah. And I think that's another one of my values too, is like, I have like a big thing with people being emotionally intelligent.
I used that word today, so it's crazy that you said that. And again, we're a week ahead, but I used that word today in a conversation I had with a friend. Emotional intelligence, right? And my emotional intelligence right now compared to 10 years ago is in a whole different ballgame. And I feel like I've had an incredible amount of emotional intelligence, but in reality, I realized that it's not emotional intelligence that I had. It was just I put on a mask really well. I put on a mask really well, and I held back emotions. And that's not really being emotional intelligent, because what ends up happening is all those repressed feelings end up coming out in a much more explosive way later on in life, especially if you drink too much, which has happened to me. I'm guilty. I'm usually a happy drunk, but if I have my feelings caught up, I'm gonna say some shit that I might be out of pocket. You know what I mean? So yeah, I definitely understand that.
Yeah, you need to be emotionally intelligent. You need to understand like where your emotions come from. Like, I'm not saying that you need to go to therapy exactly to like figure your stuff out, but you need to be able to like at least express your feelings, because I know a lot of men that get like passive aggressive when they don't understand what they're feeling, and they like project, and that doesn't work for me. Like, once I realize that people are projecting on me, and like, it's not me, it's you. And yeah, that's how the saying goes. It's not me, it's you. You're the problem.
Elaborate on that though. Elaborate on them projecting. What does that necessarily mean?
So like, let's say if my case, right? Like I told you, I'm usually always busy. It's very rare times where I'm like chilling on my phone and like whatever. I'm sorry. Hold on. Give me a second. I might have to edit this out. Yeah. I don't know what she's going through. Nala?
We got to get her emotionally intelligent. Nala needs to be more emotionally intelligent.
Nala, are you okay? I think she was having a nightmare. She was like crying in her sleep. Are you okay, Gordo? Don't scare me like that. You're already old. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I have like this fear of my dog just dying on me.
No, don't say that.
What? I swear. Yeah, because she's old already. So like, sometimes like, and when they're about to leave, they like seclude themselves, and they'll like go away from their owners and like their like daily routines.
No. This is why I cannot own a dog.
No, it's my baby. I would die. All right. Jesus. All right. We can edit all of that out. Please, for the love of God. I don't want people to know about my dog. What was I saying?
You were talking about projecting. What does that mean? What does projecting mean?
So, for example, me in my case, like I told you, I get really busy, right? I'm not on my phone all the time. I just don't. God, this hair, these curls. Okay. I'm just not like actively always WhatsApping or like, whatever. It's just not my thing. So I've noticed that men get really like passive aggressive about it when they're like, did I do something? Why are you not writing to me? Mm-hmm. Is there somebody else? Like what's happening? Like, are you okay? But and then I'm just like, okay, like listen, I'm just busy. Like I have things going on, I got family things, I got whatever. Like just chill, give me some time.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, sure, whatever. Then, like, let's say that we hang out, right? And
Mhm.
we're like together, we're whatever. If I'm on my phone, then it's like, oh, but you weren't on your phone last week when I was texting you.
Why do we do that? Men, why do we do that? Why do we do that to women? Clearly, it doesn't work, huh? Like passive aggressiveness does not work.
You know, like I'm like, okay, like now you're just projecting your little feelings that you can't just express. You know, you could just literally tell me like, "Hey, I'm upset that you didn't write to me last week."
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, that was my bad. I'm going to work on it. We can work on it together. You just need to give me some time because sometimes I get busy too. It's a simple freaking conversation. Two adults having a simple conversation. You tell me how you feel. I'll tell you how I feel. I'll let you know I'm going to work on it and we move on.
You make it seem simple. It's not that simple, right?
Because men project.
Hold on. So you're telling me women don't project?
No, 1,000% women
Okay.
project. But these
Then,
women who do this is
mhm.
because they're not emotionally intelligent.
So is it safe to say that projections from like either side, right?
Yeah, for
It
sure.
can trigger a projection to your partner. Like, so for
Yeah, and
example,
I'm
like
not
I feel
saying that I'm perfect either,
right,
because
right.
there's been
That's kind of where
instances where I also am guilty of projection and
right,
projecting my own insecurities on people and things of that sort. So I'm not saying I'm
right.
perfect, but it's something that we need to work on.
Totally understandable. So I'm going based off that, right? So like I kind of want to feed that is that what I'm trying to say does it isn't it I guess what I'm trying to say is it is it our fault because maybe one person projects one like once, let's just say they projected one time, and then out of spite I'm gonna project, right? Like out of spite, like it's like, oh, you're gonna call me out on this, I'm gonna call you out later on that,
Mhm.
because I
That's
made a
toxic.
mistake. Right, that's very toxic. That's very toxic. But some people don't see it that way, right? Because I always feel like everybody has some type of toxic in them. Like, you know what I mean? We just don't know it until it comes. I do believe that we all have some type of
Yeah,
toxicness,
yeah, we're
So,
Hispanic. We're meant to be toxic.
but why? But why? Hold on. Time out. Time out. I mean, now
Mhm.
I'm gonna call a time out on that. Why is it that Hispanics are toxic? What is it about us that makes us toxic? Like, why isn't it? Why can't we say white trash is toxic? Or why can't we say that black folk are toxic? Why is it that like Hispanics have the trademark toxic? Like what it makes us? Because I don't think necessarily we're more toxic than the next heritage out there. I don't know. I just don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody, like you said, everybody has their toxicity in a certain way. But for Hispanics in particular, I think that our toxicity comes from generational trauma. And it comes from most Hispanic households not
Mhm.
having a actual family dynamic. So most kids, Hispanic kids, will come from a single parent home.
Okay.
That has a lot to do with generational stuff. They come from divorced backgrounds, like maybe their parents were together, but their grandparents weren't, and their parents dealt with stuff, and then your parents dealt with stuff, and things of that sort. I also think it comes from Hispanics not particularly, especially in the male growing up as a man in a Hispanic household, you're given this like sense of machismo that like you're the man and you got to hold it down and you can't cry and you can't, like you got to be this breadwinner and this person that holds everything together. And I think that machismo comes with like this toxic trait. And I think that that's why Hispanics have been branded in a more toxic manner than most people. And then as far as Hispanic women goes, we're Latin. We have big personalities. We are very vocal about the things that we are, and then we also come from generational trauma. Most Hispanic families have and come from a domestic violence kind of background. The statistics are there,
Yeah.
and that's something that like we learn, we grow up in, and we see, we live in. Like me, for example, just my own background, like my mom came from a domestic violent relationship, my aunts were in domestic violence relationships, and we all lived in like this compound where I saw everything and everyone. go through something like this. And that creates generational trauma, you know, because now I'm a grown up, and the minute that I see a man get angry, or that I see somebody like snap or yell, I'm scared. And I don't want to pursue a relationship with you because you don't, it seems to me that you don't know how to control that anger. And if you don't know how to control that anger, you might snap on me one day and then I might have to kill you. So, you know,
emotional damage. Oh my God.
But yeah, I think that that's why Hispanics are branded, you know, like the most toxic, I'll say. I just think it comes from generational stuff. Like we have it a little harder than other races, if you will. I mean, and I'm not saying that other races don't have other issues, because I mean, you know, blacks have dealt with slavery trauma for the last, you know, 300, 400 years. So
Yeah.
they have other types of traumas that they deal with.
Right.
You would think that white people would suffer with white guilt, but
Yeah, but that's only been like what, 5 years, so
yeah,
they can't suffer that much. Right?
you know, so yeah, I just think that it's different for all of us, but I definitely, like, in relationships and stuff like that, family history, it's a little tougher for us, especially because of the way that we're raised and we're grown up. First generation, we won't even get into like first generation traumas. When you're a first generation American in your family, the kind of pressure that's put on you is like
big.
insane.
It's huge. It's huge. You gotta make it out there. We came to this country for you to succeed. If you don't succeed, God dang it, why did I have you? You know? So yeah, I know the feeling and stuff like that. Well, this has been really good conversation. I mean, this is led up from the week before. I know, like I said, we're a week ahead, and we're like in Back to the Future style, right? I watched that movie yesterday, so I'm thinking like that. But what I'm gonna do is we're gonna end it now, right? Because we're gonna end this episode at this point. Because what we're gonna do is we still have a little bit of time technically in this episode, and we're gonna like back into the future, and we're gonna recap if our feelings have changed throughout the week, you know, and then fill in the last couple of minutes of that episode. Any final reckless thoughts for now on everything that we spoke about?
No, it's just a lot, guys. It's
I
unpacked a lot.
Yeah,
So
this
I
is a
want to
good
say
therapy
thanks
session.
for listening.
Yeah, thank you for continuing the conversation with me, because I feel like the conversations we cut it because we're trying to keep it under an hour. We want to keep people engaged and stuff, and I understand that. But some of these conversations are really good, and you know, we talked about the whole. I kind of want to have an idea. I would love to bring. We know some DJs, me and you. I would love to bring them on and talk about if it gets thrown out at them as much as you say we.
1,000%, I'm down.
I'm so down to have them. Yeah, we'll talk to them. We'll reach out to them and see if they're willing to come on and express. I have one in Rhode Island. You have one. We have one here. So maybe we can bring them both on and see if it's really like that. But yeah, go ahead, Kribz. I don't know if you have any final
reckless thoughts. No, just about to watch some basketball.
Yes, let's do that. Remember to sign up for the March Madness gift card giveaway. I guess the only reckless thought that I have, honestly, and it's not really that reckless, it's just let's just be honest with each other, right? For fuck's sakes, man. Like, it ain't easy. We talked about it ain't easy dating in fucking Miami, and it probably isn't easy dating in whatever city you are. Everything has a challenge. I'm sure other people can attest to that. Why is it so difficult to just be honest and just, hey man, if I'm gonna hurt this person's feelings, at least I was honest with them and I wasn't trying to hurt their feelings. But you know, I'm all about that. I need to work on that too, right? I'm guilty of not hurting anybody's feelings. I don't know how many times, this is going to sound really toxic, but I don't know how many times I've avoided breaking up with someone because I'm like, I'm going to hurt their feelings. Like, I'd rather them hurt my feelings than me hurt their feelings. That's
Shame.
so fucking, yes, it's shameful. And it's something that I want to work on because I don't feel like it's the right thing to do. That's first. And it's also just not right, period. Like, it's just not the way to go. It's not you stringing somebody along who has a certain feeling for you, and or maybe they're feeling the same way and they don't know how to do it. So what, you're just gonna live for the next 5 to 10 years miserable? It's not the way to go. So I just be honest with everybody, man. If you don't like somebody like in that way, hey, let's just be friends, man. We're having a good time as friends. Why fuck it up? Fuck yeah, man. That's pretty much it, man. Yeah, right. So that's
Snaps
my
to you.
latest thoughts. Yeah. So all right, Kribz. Well, that was great. Great chat. I need to go play soccer. These guys are gonna kill me because I'm gonna be late.
Oh, you're gonna be late. Oh, all right. Bye, guys. Thanks for
Uh,
listening. Sign
we'll see
up.
you. We'll see you back in the future. Marty, hit that car. We're gonna go 88 miles. What is it? 88 miles into the future. Check us out. All right. So we are back. And yeah, that was fun. Kribz, anything you want to change your thoughts on that episode, on what you said? What, did you feel any different?
No, I stand where I stand.
Fair enough. Fair enough. There was, some great things that we talked about. But I hope everybody enjoyed that. But you did bring up an interesting subject before we got on to today's show. You said that today. Well, you know what? How about you explain it? How about you explain the situation?
Yeah, because I don't want to.
Can,
I don't want. Yeah. I don't want it to be too much out there. So, let's say, hypothetically, you were in a situationship with someone, right? So you guys were dating, casually messing around, whatever the case may be. But you had some kind of something with this person, right? And you just end things ended, everybody went their separate ways. They now have another person, and you've done your thing, you've been doing your thing, whatever. But a birthday comes up, any birthday, let's say mine or person's or whoever, right? Do you text that person happy birthday?
Wow. So do you text an ex or a past relationship, situationship, whatever you want to call it?
Whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it. Do you text them a happy birthday? Wow, that's interesting.
Are there rules? Like if they have a significant other, do you not? Or do you kind of maybe try to do it sneaky, like maybe late at night, maybe, like, yeah. Like you also don't want to overstep in anyone's, not that I think saying happy birthday is any bit disrespectful at all, right. But you just never know how another person might take it or not take it. So,
for sure.
Like, I don't know. Are there rules to this? This is my first time going through this situation. Because usually I'm like,
well, I mean,
I'll
give you my opinion. So no, because you just said it was you. So I mean, I thought we were trying to throw that out there. So, I'll explain that from my end. I guess it depends, right? Every situation is different. So in my case, like I would say happy birthday only to those that maybe I still have a friendship with. Even if they have a significant other, I don't see a problem with it. It's just a happy birthday. Say, hey, happy birthday. Hope you enjoy your day and with your loved ones, and that's it. It's not, hey, happy birthday. Let's go. I got you a gift. And I need to see you to get you a gift.
Oh my God.
That would be, I think, like overstepping, the boundary and stuff like that. But for me, I think that I'm okay with a happy birthday. I mean, I've gotten happy birthdays from exes in the past, and it's a thank you, and that's it, and we move forward. It doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything more than it needs to be. It's other than a happy birthday. I like getting a happy birthday. Like, I'm not a big fan of the gifts and and stuff like that. I'm more of the just say it. You can just say happy birthday, and I'm okay with that. And I'll take that. But if if you don't even say it or acknowledge me, like, I might be like, damn, man, you couldn't even just a nice little even if it's late. I don't even care if it's late. I don't even care if it's a month late, bro. I totally forgot. Happy birthday. I'll be like, hey man, no problem, because life happens, right? And those things happen. I'm not good with birthdays, like remembering, but if I like literally 2 days later, I'll still hit you up. Hey man, happy belated. I'm sorry I didn't get you on the day. Happy belated. Hope you enjoyed it. I think it's fine. I think there should be no problem. If they do have a problem with it and they don't respond, then you kind of know your place, and you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Dang, see, I hadn't even considered that as an option. What if I just don't get an answer back? Damn, that I've been straight ignored. Oof.
No, it's cool. Just just remember, be like, hey, I was, it's a birthday. It shouldn't have been a big deal. You made it a big deal. Now I know, and that's that. It sometimes we need to cut those type of situations out of the way. You know what I mean? And just know, hey, this is my spot clearly, and that's it. And then if they ever approach you later on, and you just remind them, you throw the nice little elbow there and say, hey, you know, I hit you up.
So in what situation would you definitely, certainly 100% not text an ex
If we just don't talk. If we
at all?
just don't at all. Like if like there's no communication, there's no need. Especially if it wasn't my fault. You know what I mean? That we're not talking. Like if it's a situation where it's like it's your fault that we're not talking, like you need to go out there and hit me up. I'm not gonna hit you up.
You a hoe. No, I was kidding.
I'm just saying. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, why do that? Like, why I don't know, like if it's my fault, I'll be the bigger person and say happy birthday. But if it's not my fault, I'm not gonna go about my schedule and say happy birthday to you, especially if you don't say it to me first. Like whoever's birthday's first, that's what it comes down to, Kribz. Whose birthday's first? If it's if you don't hit me up on my birthday was first, I'm not hitting you up. That's it. That's that.
Oh, that is so true. Grounded. Why are we petty?
We're petty. We're petty human beings, man. I hate people when they're like, oh, you got to be the bigger person. No, fuck that. My world revolves around me, and your world revolves around you. So it's a two-way street, man. You know what I mean? And last time I checked, if I'm on a two-way street and I need to turn left, and you're about to, you know, get in my way, if I got there first, let me take the left.
Oh man. All right. Well, what does the audience think, guys? Leave us a comment. Let us know if you would text. And I think you know what it is. It's harder when that situation wasn't really defined. Because if you were like in a set relationship where you're like, okay, now we're exes, okay, cool. Like we know where we stand. But in my case, it was kind of different because it was a situationship that kind of just ended up, I want to say like just fizzling out, if you will, you know, and just turning into just a friendship. But the friendship part was always there. And then obviously once he got a girl, it was kind of weird because, you know, like at that point you're like, yeah, no.
Well, if you're friends, I don't think it should be weird. I don't think the girl should feel threatened. Again, my personal opinion. I know everybody's like level of jealousy is different and stuff. So like I'd understand if she's not with it, but I think if your intentions are good, that, you know.
Yeah, it definitely would have come from ill intentions. And I feel like there are some people who would do it with ill intentions, and y'all are toxic. Okay, listen to me carefully. Y'all are toxic. Thanks. That is my reckless thought.
Wow. Yeah, I'm saying we didn't even get a chance to put it up on the screen. What? But it's true. Why are we so petty, man? Like we are very petty. I'm a petty person. You know, I can be petty at times.
I've known you to be hugely petty, but when it's valid, like.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's not like I'm doing it out of spite. It's because there is a reason why I'm being petty. Like I am being petty because you crossed me a certain way that I just did not like. Let me fix my Colombian jersey over there in the back. We're playing tonight. We got to win tonight. So shout out to Peru too. But I am petty for so many reasons, and they're usually valid. Kribz, thank you for sticking up for me, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
and I know
it's true. It's true. I mean, I've known you for a while, and when I've seen that side of Alex, it's always been because it's been building up to like, okay, I'm gonna come back at you. Like it is what it is.
Yeah. I'm like, I hold receipts. I'm like,
yeah, and then it's just like, bam.
But sometimes it's not good because sometimes, like, you know,
it's definitely not the healthiest. I will say that it's not the healthiest, but. I mean, sometimes this might be another reckless thought, but sometimes being petty is warranted. Sometimes it just has to be done. Sometimes you got to humble some people down. You know what I'm saying? Like,
stay humble, folks. Stay humble.
Stay humble.
Kribz, we have a short episode today, but next week we're going to get into it. We're going to get back into the talks. I mean, free agency is crazy.
We have a lot to say about free agency.
So many things have happened free agency. I'm sure by next week we'll also have an update about who is in the final four of this NCAA turn. Yeah, shout out to the Dolphins. Oh my goodness. Like Man, they're a mini Niner team, and I'm enjoying it. I mean, I'm so happy for you guys. Hope everything works out for you guys. But yeah, by next week we should know who the Final Four is in the March Madness brackets. By next week we should also, we'll get into the free agency, and then we'll see what other topics we bring up. I've so many things are happening in this world, man. Gas is expensive, rent is expensive.
Bruh.
Next thing they're going to charge us for breathing, but we'll get into a lot of things. We'll talk about. I don't know, Kribz, what do you want to talk about next week? I don't know. Do you have anything in mind?
Definitely, we got to talk about free agency next week. I think we should talk about like all the NFL moves that are happening. I think next week might be a lot of sports because
For sure.
the NFL offseason this year has been crazy.
One of the craziest off seasons I've seen so far.
Insane, just completely insane. And I don't know, maybe we'll get into the whole X thing. Once people start answering, we'll see what they got to say about it.
Oh man, we'll see if Carlos has a response to
and let's do a little more. If you have ever texted your ex for whatever, happy birthday or whatever, what's the worst response that you have gotten? Or what's the worst case scenario that's come out of it? Like,
thanks was for me. It's a simple one word thanks. I was like, all right, my bad, my fault.
But even thanks with even just thanks is kind of okay. I feel like if it would have been like, thank you, like.
Kribz, if you know somebody.
Thank you.
If you know somebody for years and you know that one worded answers is not a good thing, thanks is not a good thing. Thanks was like basically like, yeah, leave me alone, please.
Fuck off. Oh, wait, good shit. Oh crap, we might have to edit all that out.
Why? We curse on this. We try to curse as minimal as possible. We do curse. There's a couple of E's on the Spotify.
I'm so sorry. That was a lot of like real fast. They are just shotgun out there.
So what's cool about this is that you're actually getting this all on YouTube. Like we're not getting any of this on Spotify. Because you're watching it on YouTube, you are getting this exclusive content before the second half of the episode and the after. So on Spotify, you're going to get just episode 4, and we're giving you 4.0, 4.5, whatever you want to call it, 4.1, 4.2, and then next week we'll go into 4.0. We'll go into 5. We'll just go into straight 5. Yeah, no more 4 point something. All right, Kribz. Well, thank you for joining me on this very quick little recap, and then watching the second episode again. I will see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see each other next week. Do we have a date yet?
Let's try Tuesday.
Let's try Tuesday.
Because I gotta fly out Wednesday to Georgia to my skunk.
This man, he's always on the run. I mean,
it's a wedding, See if I get lucky out there, wedding crashing.
Wait, are you wedding crashing?
Well, no, I'm not wedding crashing.
Oh my god, I was gonna say, dang.
I'm invited to the wedding. But
All right, so Tuesday. So you guys could probably wait for the new episode on Wednesday.
Yes, there you go. More than likely on Wednesday when I'm already in Georgia getting drunk.
Must be nice.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. Make sure you check out the Reckless Thoughts podcast on Instagram. You can check us out at Reckless824 on Instagram and Twitter. Kribz at Kribz_ZEE. Krib_ZEE for Instagram and Twitter. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Subscribe and like, guys.
For sure. Thank you for the support.